He's like, what makes you think I want this picture? And I'm sitting there like, it's a great picture. I'm like, he's like, it has nothing to do with anything that I have any interest in. I'm like, my dad's into turtles. No, was it a picture of a turtle? No turtle. Was it? He's been in the activism. He's definitely an artist of note of himself now, the photographer and other kind of artist and everything. But I just was in a desperate ploy and basically went and grabbed like the first. It was like one of them cheap little calendar poster kind of things, and tried to give him that as a gift. And he was not feeling it at all. So like I said, he definitely called me out on it, and I'm sitting there going like, so I can relate to the bad gifts because I have given the bad gift, and thought I was doing something great, but that's the thing you got to be careful about with your parents and everything. Because I also remember, I think I may have told this story once on the show as well before, but we always think that we can put one over on our parents too. And I thought that I thought I could do that too. Now, the one mistake that you do not want to make is that if you decide that you're going to lie to your parents, and I'm sure there are probably times in your life, you're in your late 40s, but you probably lie to your parents on one thing or another. But if you're going to lie to your parents, where's the one thing that you don't want to do after you tell the lie? For the most part, you probably don't want to stick around, right?
Oh yeah. You don't want to be around for post questions and more digging into
post questions, reactions. I don't even remember what the lie was about. It's probably something that I did that I didn't need to be doing. I probably tried to lie to him about something or another. But I told this lie to my dad, and earlier today, before you got on the show, Mother Nature likes to play tricks on us and everything. So, like I said, I had some tea earlier today, and we had to take a set break because, tea will do that. So we had to take a set break so that I could take care of Mother Nature and all of that stuff. Why, after I told my dad to lie, and this was probably when I was like in my, I'd say early to mid-20s, did I have to go to the restroom? So I went to the restroom, and of course, parents. Parents, and he can relate to this. Dean is a parent as well as a grandparent now. So, parents register things. So while I'm sitting there, just minding my business, taking my little whiz and everything, Dad registers that I have lied to him. So, it's not pleasant when all of a sudden the door opens and you're in the middle of taking a whiz and Dad's looking at you like, boy, what the heck were you thinking? And why did you lie to me? Like, I'm sitting there going, like, holding my junk and everything, going like, I don't know what I was thinking. Yes, I lied to you. I mean, it's not like you can get out of it.
Oh man, no, parents know when you're lying, and as soon as you try to lie to them, they turn into like Columbo on TV, and they just like, oh, one more question. Could you tell me that again? Well, I'm sorry, what did you say happened? And as soon as they start asking more questions, you're dead. They got you dead to rights.
If they start asking more questions, you're in trouble. If they start interrogating you, you're definitely in trouble because, like you said, they're like Columbo, Barretto, any of those old TV shows that we remember and everything. They definitely have those whole routines down and everything, and they will sit there and just give you that serious inquisition, and it's not like you can get out of it. And now, I will not lie. I have a younger brother. I did try to occasionally toss the blame to him, but then I think he learned to toss the blame back to me. So it became that whole blame game thing.
Yeah, that your siblings got to stick together. As soon as you turn on each other, it's over.
Yeah, because you turn on, they're gonna get you back.
Yeah, you guys got to remain a solid block against the parents. If you guys turn on each other, then it's chaos.
Total chaos at that point. Now, that was the example of the worst Christmas gift. Now, what was the example in your mind of the worst Christmas that you had? Like you said, we're in the holiday mode and everything, so that the gift was bad enough. Now, I'm sure there was some like bad family member that came to a Christmas gathering, or something that you sat there and wanted like, like.
No, this is almost too easy. So, when I moved out and I got divorced in 2015. Oh,
that's just a 10-minute warning. Still tell your story.
Okay. And, the divorce was great for me. Like, I had to get divorced. That was great. But I got divorced. My dad died on Halloween. And my dad and I were not close at all, but it's still, like, just this weight of this. And then one of my stand-up students died in November. And then in December, I was in a car accident. And so Christmas comes, and I'm renting an attic space That's where I was living. I spent a year living in this. It was a nice enough space. It was great. But the lady who owned the house was gone. So I was in the house by myself. My best friend from when I was married was at my ex-wife's house having Christmas. And so I basically just spent Christmas alone in this attic. And all my family, of course, all my family's up in Wisconsin having Christmas together. And it was just, and that was really like the last, that was like the bottom for me. Like ever since then, it's been nothing but up. So I feel like it's a thing that I had to go through, and I just had to have that super bad, depressing thing where you're just like, what am I even doing? You know, I hate to say that I was like, I definitely wasn't suicide, like where I was close to suicide, but like that's definitely things you're thinking when you're spending Christmas alone in an attic and no one around you, and you're just kind of like not sure where your life is at or what's going on. And the next month, I actually spent January of the next year in Austin at a theater. I'd contacted them as soon as I decided to move out. I was like, I need to start doing for myself, and I called them like, I want to spend a month there as an artist in residence. And so I came off this really, really awful Christmas and like super depressing, and just went to Austin and came back and just felt like a complete, like it was just like a completely different person, like ready to beat the world. So as bad as that Christmas was, and it was easily the worst Christmas I've ever had. It was definitely like hitting the bottom to bounce back up. So even though it's a negative, I still have to realize that that's where I started my climb back up.
No, I can definitely relate to that as well, because I remember going in my senior year in college. So we're talking, I'm 56 now, so we're probably like 22 at the time. So we're talking almost 34 years ago and everything. I made the mistake. You know, we all make mistakes in life, and even that we even reflect on many decades later. And one of the mistakes that I made was I thought that I was going to graduate on time, you know, do the whole May graduation, was preparing, I think, to graduate in May. This, of course, didn't have the course to graduate in May, but I just think I talked myself into thinking I was going to graduate in May, which meant that I needed to come back to school for one more semester. I'm actually a December graduate of Marquette University. But when I came back, I had...
Whoa, hold up. You went to Marquette University?
Yeah, I went to Marquette in 1984.
Shut up. I graduated in 92.
Oh, wow. All right. So a fellow Marquette graduate. And we're just talking about the team, because earlier today we were talking about Marcus Howard and the amazing game he had while he was...
45 this weekend, yes.
45 this weekend, exactly. But when I went in my senior year, I sat there and I went like, how am I going to... I have courses, I have no place to live. So my good friend, Danny Hermosillo, who is still involved in TV in Texas, he said, well, you can stay with us. I'm like, cool. That'll solve my problem. You know, I had basically two roommates. You know, the roommate that I had for 3 years and my roommate my senior year. So I had basically two roommates my entire Marquette career, maybe three at the most. But he said, well, you can live with us. How did I know I was going to be living in a daggone frat house? So, yes, my roommates, my senior year, I was rooming with a bunch of white fraternity people. So, like I said, Danny Hermosillo is a young Latin American gentleman, but no, I lived in the frat house.
Of course. Yeah, the worst part about Marquette, as much as you know, I met some great friends there. Yeah, that whole frat system, that suburban Illinois frat system, was not the best thing. So you were there when Chris Farley was there.
Yeah, they did not know Chris. Actually, the person that I knew that everybody knows is I was there when Doc was there. So Doc Rivers was there between 80 and I think he went hardship in 83. So Doc Rivers and my roommate were actually best friends. So we would sometimes run across each other during that time. I think Chris may have come either right before or right after. But, yeah, definitely cool. Definitely there's some tremendous history there and everything. Now, like I said, that morning, Dean, what we got, about 3 minutes?
We have about 5.
All right, 5 minutes. That's even better. So this is my question for you, Mr. Zarling. Ms. Zarling, I guess be politically correct. Ms. Zarling is... I mean,
that's not politically correct. That's just the right thing.
Right. So that's what I said. That'll be the right thing. Ms. Zarling is... You can give advice to the Archman. We like to pick on the Archman on this show. So either in character or out of character, if you could give advice to the Archman in 5 minutes or less, what advice would you give him?
Give advice
the
to who?
Being that person, the Archman, the person that sits in the White House.
Oh, Oh, to the orange man. Okay. You know what I have to say is that the most important thing in this world is love. And you represent America. You represent an America where that's not the case. And you have to realize that the only way to make America great again is for all of us to reconnect with each other and our love of as Americans, and for the world. And so turning us against each other, turning straight people against trans and gay people, turning black people and white people against black people, or turning Americans against immigrants is not the way to make us great. America's greatness has come from being a leader, and we lead and we innovate, and nothing you're doing is leading to us being innovative. Nothing innovative is coming out. No new great technologies are coming, and we have those opportunities. We have the opportunities to be a world leader when it comes to green technology, and we're not doing that. We have opportunities like people complain about spending tax dollars on science and stuff. Well, other countries send their best minds here to learn at our universities, and we're not using that. And so you have to realize that love is the answer. Conversely, I don't think anything I say would ever matter to him. So my advice would be to the rest of us, and I think the thing that we struggle with, and when I say struggle, it's just like everyday people, regardless of whatever your religious beliefs are, whatever your skin color is that we've been sold this idea that there's this American dream and America is fair, and we're playing under these things where if we follow the rules, we'll be successful. But really, there's a successful America where the whole point is they're not following the rules. Donald Trump, the orange one, tries to talk about how he is this successful businessman, and really, it was just a con job by his dad to pass money down to him. We want to talk about how if you work hard, you go to school, and all this can happen. It's like, but you know what? That's not how it works. All right? There are no rules to follow. And so better to band together and use our collective voice than to try to figure out what the fair and right thing is to do. Anything that's happened in this country didn't happen because we elected a politician. All right? Anything that happened was because enough of us became powerful enough to make it economically unviable for it to be any other way. George Bush just passed away. He was very anti-LGBTQ. The world didn't change because all these politicians had a light go off in their head. Things changed because it became unprofitable for corporations to be homophobic. Any racial advances came because enough of us spoke up and enough of us became a bloc that it became economically unfeasible to ignore us. So we have to realize that as a group, as a nation, those of us who are quote-unquote working class or struggling, that we have our power, and the power comes from being collective. And that's why there's sowing division. Not because black people and white people hate each other, but because they don't want us to realize that we all want the same things and that collectively we're stronger than them.
No doubt about that.
I hope I didn't go over.
No, a little bit over, but that's okay. Definitely appreciate those words, and definitely some strong words that were said. I actually was talking to a friend of mine that actually does not believe that we are in space, so I'm glad that you mentioned science, because I was talking to a friend of mine, he's sitting there going like, we're not actually in space. We never went there. It was all Hollywood. And I'm sitting there going like, no, but I think we actually went there. So definitely appreciate you being on the show, and hopefully folks will be getting in touch with you and appearing at your performance in Chapel Hill, as well as some of the other performances that you mentioned. Dean, you got any last words before we get out of here? And then, of course, we'll be back next week with more great shows. And, of course, we're going to try to get Alaska, Montana, and North Dakota. That's still the three states we're missing from the U.S. of A.
Indeed, and we appreciate you. Thank you for being there. Like I always say, when you walk out your front door, it's showtime, and the world is your stage. Just make sure that people are not watching the rehearsal. So we thank everyone for listening tonight and riding with us. We'll be back next week. Remember, 2 more shows before we get to 2019. Catch the